So Trump is now saying that the Smithsonian used to represent American greatness, and now it's too woke and racially divisive. But it seems like the time that he's talking about is when the institution was literally pushing eugenics and stealing the brains of black people from in and around DC. Because for decades, the Smithsonian literally had a racial brain collection and was a headquarters for white supremacist science. And I don't mean that metaphorically, I mean like officially, institutionally, and federally funded racism. And just so you know exactly what went down, from 1904 to 1943, this guy, Alice Ehrlichka, led the Smithsonian's anthropology program. He was a staunch eugenicist who believed that measuring skulls could prove racial hierarchies. So he amassed a vast collection of human remains, primarily from black and indigenous people, including children, taken without consent. And here you can see the death certificate of one of these individuals, a black infant from DC who was just 21 months old. But Ehrlichka didn't just limit his work to the United States. He expanded his collection through colonial networks, extracting remains from indigenous peoples all around the world from the Philippines to Peru. And his ideas, which were fully supported by the Smithsonian, helped legitimize eugenics in America, shaping immigration restrictions, forced sterilizations, and segregationist laws. And the work of the American eugenics movement, which Ehrlichka was a part of, was later admired by the architects of Nazi racial ideology, including but not limited to Adolf Hitler himself. And it's presumed that this is the period that Trump is now romanticizing as a time of American excellence and cultural achievement. And perhaps the worst part of the story is that as of 2023, the Smithsonian still has over 200 brains in its storage. Meaning this is one of those events where even in bad faith, someone can't just say, oh, it happened so long ago, we need to forget about it. This history is a continuing example of brutal and barbaric racism. Yet Trump's executive order treats any reckoning with this racism as political indoctrination. Yet, as you can see in this primary source newspaper, it was white supremacy that was indoctrinated throughout American history. And the refusal to acknowledge and address it is the actual continuation of this indoctrination. So if there's anything you take away from this horrific tragedy, just remember. The violent racism and oppression that has occurred throughout American history has been normalized as neutral or benign. So when we name it and work to undo it, they frame our actions as disruptive and unnecessary, not the actual issue in and of itself. But if you want to go deeper on this topic, I wrote a full-length article on my Substack about the Smithsonian Racial Brain Collection and the efforts to erase this history. You can check out my Substack by going to historycan'thide.com, or if you're on Instagram, you can comment the word newsletter and be DM'd a link to my Substack account. And of course, if you learned something new, share this to your story and follow for more.